The seminar is going to be taught by John, who is the master salumiere. So salumiere in Italian means a salami expert.
Well, it's great to be here today. I'm pretty excited to be surrounded by all of you guys who are just so enthusiastic about these products. A little bit about myself. I started my career as kind of an indentured servant in our family business up on Broadway Street, where I learned three important corporate skills. One, hand tagging salami. Two, sweeping. Three, hiding by the front window on Broadway Street as much as I get away with. I think the third skill was the most important. At the end of the day, we'd all run through those forests of salamis and get covered as much mold as we could. I think that's why today they call me a quasi-expert, although I had to follow it up with a little bit of university training later on. So today, we're going to walk you through 4 different salamis here. And I want it to be interactive. So if any of you have made salami, it's a great time to ask salami questions, discuss salami. A little bit of background on this product. This product is called the Columbus Artisan Series. This is our ultra premium product line. And it began in the mid-90s as a challenge from my former partner at Columbus, who's here today, seated in the back, Phil Gatto. Please raise your hand. And the important thing about that challenge was in the Bay Area, you have to think back, the industry began at the turn of the century, early 1900s, mainly immigrants. Now these immigrants brought in full primal cuts of pork, meaning bone-in pieces. They did the boning, the muscle separation. They prepared the products. So they knew the meat, they knew the separation of products, and they knew the final product. Over the course of time, these little cottage industries became larger production plants. And slowly but surely, frozen boxed meat became more of the normal course of material for the industry. And as that happened from probably 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, there was a bit of an erosion of skill set and knowledge from raw material, fabricating to finished product. Now the challenge in 1991 when we started this project, and this was really a collaboration between someone who helped me write the book, who's very famous for salami making, Francois Vecchio, who's a Swiss-born salumiere. And this was really a challenge by my cousin Phil Gatto, because we're related. Could we make classic, high-quality Italian salami in the USA? Now, alongside you here, there's a couple things that are quite interesting that are a great parallel. 2 grapevines. Now, if any of you are wine drinkers, you all know great wine is made in the vineyard. There's no great wines that come from mediocre vineyards. Great salumi is made on the farm with the animals. The analogy is exactly the same. Let's talk about the meat raw material, because this is really important. Salumi, good salumi material has to come from animals raised a certain way, meaning you have to have some fat, intermuscular fat. The animals have to have some freedom of movement so that the lean muscles get pigmented if you want these kind of colors in the product. The animals need to be on vegetarian diets so they grow a little bit slower, and also the lack of antibiotics is also very important. Those are the 4 components to natural pork racing, and they're also the same components that produce the high quality finished product. We're a group of people basically restarting natural hog farming in the Midwest, people like Bill Nyman and others, who started to support and grow these heirloom breeds like Berkshire, Tadworth. These were breeds that really lost favor because in terms of what you buy in the retail store, they didn't make the leanest loin that there was. They would put on equivalent weight, but they would put on, these kind of hogs put on much thicker back fat. Now I know everybody's fat phobic or was fat phobic. I have suspect this group is not so fat phobic, but great, thin, thick, firm back fat is the absolute critical ingredient. And without the right animals raised in the right way, what does that mean? That means animals on only vegetarian feeds. That means animals that do not receive antibiotics. And that means animals that are given freedom of movement. And the result of all that really is an animal that, when you look at it, almost looks like quasi-beef pork. That's the way I would describe it. If you look at the loin of an animal that's raised in this manner, you have very dark pigmentation. If you look at these products, and if you look at the best of what Italy has to offer in classic workmanship, you're looking at red, ruby colors and product. That's one of the hallmarks of a great salami. And that color must be stable, meaning it was sliced out here today, and it should be able to sit out here today for hours and keep that kind of bloom. The second quality is really what I would call high workmanship. And in a good salami, you want to be able to see the differentiation between fat and lean. And it must be clean to the eye. And the third component, the most important component, are highly complex fermentation and age flavors. Spice must remain hidden below the surface of those in order to really appreciate what this product is. Now, of course, there's a couple things here where the spice is kind of the character of the product. We have the third one from, would be my right, I'm not sure if it's your right, Finocchiona, which is with fennel seed. And of course, you're going to taste fennel, there's no question. And the last one is the truffle salami, and that's the same idea. But on the first two salamis, and probably the cacciatore is the cleanest example of that, you have very, very little in terms of spice. The spice level in this line of products is probably 50% less than our more classic San Francisco style product. A salami that's done well should not have a hard ring around the outside. It takes skill to dry this at the rate at which the product wants to give up its moisture.